This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we've traveled to the pit or the G.I. Joe headquarters to take a look at our classified series, Sergeant Stalker figure. On the side of the box, we have some nice artwork here. Looks like it should actually have like multiples. And I don't know, like maybe somebody can tell me, did they actually do that with some of these figures where if you put them side by side, they would have made a scene? Because that would have been a cool idea. Because I'm wondering who's supposed to be down there. On the back, you can see this is definitely one of the older ones because this is the generic image they had on the back of all the original, I think, first and maybe second wave figures. We also get kind of a hint there as Storm Shadow would have looked like if he'd been done in the original classified variation instead of the more traditional look, where we see, like, say, Storm Shadow looks like he's a little bit more technical, modernized type of thing because he's got instead of having like the actual cloth over his mouth, it looks like an actual, or closer to what the Cobra Troopers are wearing, to be honest. Let's open the sucker up. All right. So our buddy Stalker here comes with a lot of extra equipment. Holster for one of the guns. Which one, though? I guess that one fits in there the best. Question is, does it fit in there with the clip in place? Which, by the way, so this is kind of like the more traditional gun that came with a lot of early G.I. Joe figures. And Stalker was one of the original 13 Joes, as they're referred to. Hopefully that'll... Nope, that does not fit with the clip. However, it does appear as if maybe... Alright, you can put the clip on the side there, and then put the gun inside of there like that. I guess that's kind of a creative design. Damn, trying to get that sucker out. Not easy. He also comes with a pistol. We've seen this one with other figures. The pistol comes with a flat suppressor. And they are keeping with the... these are actually blast effect compatible, so that's kind of nice. That's with the suppressor on there. By the way, I am not much of a gun person myself. Like, I'm not super knowledgeable of accessories. But do they actually make flat suppressors like that? To note, we do have a holster that is designed to hold both the suppressor and the gun separately on his thigh. So we'll put that in place. He comes with a knife. To be honest, I kind of feel like I haven't seen this knife with anybody else. It seems like it's a bit bigger than a lot of the knives that we have, and the handle feels thicker to me. but we'll stick that in the thigh sheath for it. Stand up, buddy. We have his other gun, or rifle, which I think we've seen this with other figures too. And it has its ammo, which clips on like this. And somebody was nice enough in a previous video to tell me that that is actually called a nutsack. We've also have this little poncho thing for him. Which will actually fit over his head. Although, to be honest though, like, it looks really stupid with the harness underneath it. And I don't think you can't really take the harness off to put this underneath the harness, but that's how it's supposed to go, right? Not a big fan of that. He also has his green beret barrette. Barrette? Barrette, yeah, that's the barrette, right? Which flips onto his head like so. And then we can pin the other rifle to his back. Get it out of the way. So that puts all of our equipment with him. And this is back as part of that whole classified figures can hold all their equipment on them at one time thing. I'm going to take this off real quick. Maybe. Maybe it won't be real quick. So, whoops. I mean, he's got a pretty detailed head sculpt going on here, but he also looks kind of pissed, in my opinion. He's got the buzz cut, and then they've given him kind of like this additional line on the side. Just, I don't know why exactly. He looks kind of like he's too old to have one of those kind of haircuts, you know what I mean? But I think they did a pretty good job on the face sculpt. Articulation wise, we're going to go ahead and do the main articulation first, and then we'll put the poncho back on because, we'll have to test that out with his head and his arms. Though the harness itself doesn't really fit on the figure very well, in my opinion. You definitely need to get the belt down onto the crotch piece. But we have the G.I. Joe chicken neck. Ball joint in the head so you can spin it around. Look up. Look down. Of course, part of that looking down is the neck moving also. You can look over at the sides. Arm-wise, we do have the butterfly joint, and it's actually a pretty nice big butterfly joint movement there. We can lift the arm up, down, on the hinge, spin it around. We do have the bicep cut, double joint at the elbow, 360 at the wrist, and he's kind of got the up and down articulation, mostly down. And his hands do in fact have like glove detailing on them. So they didn't just paint over the hands, they actually do have details on them. So that's kind of nice. We have an ab crunch. Oh, my back. We have the ball joint at the waist that allows us to spin it all around, but also rotate him. Traditional G.I. Joe classified drop down hips. I am honestly waiting for the day that Hasbro gets rid of those in order to save money. 360 spin on the thigh. Double jointed knees. Got ourselves a boot cut. Hinge at the ankle, as well as a bit of a spin if I don't lose the boot cut. I actually think that almost every part of his body is used on one of the Snake Eyes releases. The one that's designed more to look like the first release Snake Eyes from the original 13. Unfortunately, I don't. Do I even have that one open? I have both of the mainland. I have all the actual Snake Eyes releases except for the deluxe special one that was like a Hasbro exclusive because I didn't buy it when it came out, and I wasn't really collecting G.I. Joe Classified at the time. As mentioned before, let's go ahead and throw his poncho back on there. And we'll throw the beret on there as well. So we can still get the 360 spin. We can still have him look up and look down into the thing. But when you have him kind of down, his head does get caught on this poncho thing. It does not appear to be hindering the spin at all, though, on the figure. I'm not a fan. I'll probably display him without that when it comes down to doing so. For another additional comparison, though, I do have one of the reissue releases of the original O-ring style version of Sergeant Stalker, at the time known only as Stalker, even though he was a sergeant. That whole thing where they need to like come up with variations on the name so they can still trademark or copyright them or whatever. It's kind of funny because like I said, our classified version looks pissed. Our original O-ring version looks like he's bored. But now again, since this isn't actually one of the original releases and it's actually one of the like anniversary ones, the color scheme is definitely probably off. I mean, this definitely isn't the colors that they used in the original version either, if we're being perfectly serious. Honest, not serious. But you can definitely see where they didn't really recreate the pouches here. They just gave us that oh, well, maybe. Hold on. He does have a pocket over there. Not quite the pouch like he has in the original figure, but still not bad. Overall, this is not a bad update for him. I never ended up opening up the weapons, but as you can see, this is where they got that gun from. And he came with a backpack, just a standard teeny tiny little backpack. I kind of like this a little bit better, and it definitely works out better than some of those ones that came with the Cobra troopers. So overall, Stalker's not a bad figure. I do have the file card that came with our O-ring guy here. Stalker is a Army Ranger, codename Stalker. Actually, maybe he wasn't actually a sergeant at the time. SN number, who cares? File name, Wilkinson, Lonzo R, primary military specialty is infantry. Secondary military specialty is medic interpreter. Birthplace, Detroit, Michigan, grade E8. Motto, follow me and I'll lead you to victory. Stalker was the member of a street gang prior to his enlistment. He was a member of the same long-range recon patrol as Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow in Southeast Asia. As one of the original G.I. Joe team members, he had many successful campaigns against Cobra. He's a take charge kind of guy, intelligent, perceptive, and remains composed under stressful situations. When the government closed down the G.I. Joe program, he decided to return to his hometown to give something back to the community. Stalker established a gang intervention program to clean up the streets. He received word that the team was reorganizing its original members and decided to return along with his comrades. After the team's first encounter with Cobra forces, they found a suitable location and, in its tradition of the men and women who served their country before them, raised the flag in their honor and declared, "Stars and Stripes forever!" And actually, now that I think about it, this was part of a pack that actually had like this base, and it had the flag on it, so you could display all the characters as they lifted the flag up. From General Hawk's files. He has the expertise and the knowledge to handle tough situation. Stalker seems to have the reflexes of a jungle cat, like he almost knows what his opponents are going to do before they do it. I call that skill. He calls it being perceptive. Very dedicated and true asset to our ranks. He works best under stress. His mind is like a steel trap with really sharp teeth. I feel sorry for the enemy that sticks their foot in it. Whereupon my mind is more like a steel sieve. Fun bit of information, I guess. They are releasing a retro cardback version of Stalker. And I am going to play a little bit of Russian roulette with that one, because Stalker made it to a lot of the secondary resale markets. Like the one I have here, and this is actually the second Stalker I've picked up, but I got it at Ross for like $6. So I am going to take the risk that the retro cardback version will end up becoming available as a clearance item at some point, and then I will pick it up. So we'll see how well that goes. Hopefully with my luck, he won't sell that well and I'll be able to get him at a discount. I think that will complete our look at our Sergeant Stalker here. Please feel free to leave a comment. Give this video a like if you want to. It'll help out the channel, or so they tell me. And subscribe. Peace and love.